Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the class of Business Correspondence and Reporting. How are you all? We are meeting after, I think, about 1 week later. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you all are taking all the precautions and staying at home and staying safe. And in the meantime, you're also concentrating on your upcoming exams. You are practicing. So last we did with me, last you did was sentence types and vocabulary. So today we will be starting with the topic article writing. And I will be giving you and I will be taking a lot of reference from the grammatical topic and the vocabulary topics that we did. Because when we are doing a writing skill, that is when the grammar and the use of vocabulary becomes very important. I'm sure you must have been taught by the other teachers also the same thing. That whenever we are talking about writing, it's very important for us to keep a check on our use of language and use of our vocabulary, right? And like I told you in the beginning when I started chapter 2, that why we are teaching you and why we're including the topics like grammatical topics, and we are teaching you about vocabulary. Some things are basic also and some things might be new to you, but why we are doing it? Because at the end of the day, when you're writing in English, when you're writing in a particular language, grammar and vocabulary is basically the building blocks. If you don't know these two things, you won't be able to write. Later in life, it will be all about writing, right? Even if you're writing your email, you're writing a letter, you want to get your, article published, anything, right? So you are preparing your resume. Everywhere, when you will be writing, you need to have a good base of grammar. Right. So today we are going to start with article writing. I hope you all are ready. The basic mandate of my class, I hope your study material is ready with you. Your pen, pencil is ready with you, because again, I will be asking a lot of questions and then you have to quickly answer. And you are, be ready to respond, because it's not grammar, it's not vocabulary. You don't have to write in one word. You might have to write few sentences to me today. That would also help me to see that where you guys are going wrong. I can at least guide you how to write and how to frame your sentences. And this is how we will be, making this class interactive and more engaging. And at least you will get a feedback of, how you're doing it. Right. Before I start with today's lecture, all the PPTs have been uploaded. So you can go to your students portal and download the PPTs for the chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 8 as well. So you can download the PPTs for your reference. That would help you in preparing your exams at the last minute also. Are you ready for the class today? Okay. So now what is article writing, right? And why we need to study about article writing. Then we will be talking about, what is a format of article writing? What are the things that you need to keep in mind while writing an article? I will also be including one topic that is not primarily there in your study material, but I would like to explain you how article writing can help you in your future, maybe right now also, how it can become a good practice for you, and how it can help you in, building your resume also. So what all things you should keep in mind before we start with this chapter. Then I will also be discussing the study material with you. So there are few examples given in your study material, the sample articles, right? Rather than discussing some new examples, before I will be telling you how these articles are framed, right? How there's how the paragraphs and the words are flowing, how the one paragraph, why there's a change from one paragraph to another paragraph, how a writer decides that okay, now I have to start with another paragraph, how you organize your information, and then you start writing your article, and how you make it interesting, how you don't want to make it boring for the people to read. So we will be studying each sample writing in your study material. If you do not have study material in front of you, don't worry, I will be sharing the screen so you can see the study material on your screen. Okay. But it will be good if you have the study material, so that when I'm telling you some pointers, at least you can write it down in your study material. Okay, but never mind. Even if you don't have it, just make notes in your notebook. I will be sharing the study material on screen as well. Right? So let's start. Now, article writing is basically a process of creating a non-fiction text. Okay, now what is a non-fiction text? Non-fiction text is something that is not fiction, right? So you are basically writing about something which is factual, something which is real, something which is true. It could be your opinion also, it could be your viewpoint also, right? But you are not writing a story here. Basically, you are writing a non-fiction piece based on some information that you have, or maybe you are giving your opinion about something, maybe your viewpoint about something. So this is how why this is a non-fiction text. It is not a fiction. If it is fiction, then it will become a story. Yes, right? So fiction is something that is not true, right? So this is not non-fiction text. Now it can vary from being serious to ordinary. It could be serious, like basically if you're writing about, this COVID situation right now, right? You want to share about what is the situation, what do you think about it, or maybe you have some statistical information and you want to write about COVID. It's a very serious topic, so your article will be very serious, where you will be telling about what is the impact of COVID on people, how people are suffering, and how different sectors are suffering, maybe how economy is suffering. So when you write such things, that is a serious topic. Ordinary, you can talk about some ordinary things, like which is something bit light when you read. Like for example, there are some articles that are available. I don't know how good they are, but people write about these things. 6 tips to become a good CA, 6 tips to become, how to become a good teacher. So, some light topics. Maybe you're writing about fashion, maybe you're writing about some movies, entertainment, anything. So it could range from being serious to ordinary. Okay, it totally depends on how you want to write and how the flow could be. Now this particular piece of writing is basically published in newspapers, magazines, journals, and now you have this online audience also. There's so many online platforms to get your articles published. There's so many e-magazines available, e-journals available, where you can get your articles published, and they are doing very well. They have a wider audience, as good as a newspaper, maybe better than a newspaper and magazine these days. uh, because a magazine and a newspaper will not reach people globally, the particular thing, but the e-magazine and e-journal can reach and take you to the wider audience globally, across the globe, right? Of course, article has a wide audience, right? So if you're writing about career in commerce or career in science, then you will have a wide audience of students, right? If you're writing about an article about some fashion, then you will have a wide audience, people who are into the fashion industry, right? So you have a wide audience, but you have a specific audience according to the industry, or maybe according to what your article is trying to say. But for example, if you are writing about COVID situation, or maybe you're writing about some general how lives are being impacted right now from past 2020 to 2021, then you will have an even wider audience, because everybody is getting impacted, right? People would be interested to know what you feel, right? So you can reach to, and if you have written your article very well, then you can reach to so many people, right? And these days, how social media works. The things get viral, and then people start reading. Even the articles get viral. There's some good articles that people read, right? Some good videos, some good interviews. So similarly, in articles also, people start posting and reposting if you are writing very well. So the article writing can basically take you to many places by just a piece of writing that you're going to write, right? But as easy it sounds, it is not that easy, right? You have to structure yourself, you have to plan yourself, you have to get your information in place. Of course, before writing an article, you should have knowledge also, right? You can't just write in air. You should have some authentic information with you. You should, if you're mentioning about the facts, those facts should be verified. If you're mentioning some statistics, then the statistics have to be with reference to some things that are published by some authorities. So even if you are writing an article, your article should be authentic. So basically people can rely on to what you're writing, right? So it gives you a huge responsibility also, depending on, again, what you're writing about, right? So everything has to be checked and double checked before you write and before you get it published, right? Okay. Now, coming back to this, now what all things article writing, what else can it do? It can discuss ideas, concepts, but some current issues, some topics in general. I've already told you: health, politics, entertainment, environmental concerns. There's so many things that you can write about. The other day I was looking at some articles people write about how to clear this so and so exam. I mean, if people just write about anything and everything, I don't know how good they are or how helpful they are, but everybody finds their own way of writing, and how and their own way of expressing, and their own way of reaching to the audience. So everybody has their own mindset and everybody has their own way of doing it, right? So like I just said, okay, now, well, let's come to the language part. So in article writing, since we are talking about the wide audience, right, so the language has to be such that everybody understands, right? I cannot use difficult words that people don't know about, right? You should use good words, but don't make it so difficult that a common man doesn't understand, because your article might be read by different set of people in different states, different people coming from different educational backgrounds. Maybe maybe they understand English, but they don't have a very deeper knowledge about English. So your article, if you want to reach to the wider audience, it should be interesting, but it should be simple, right? Yes. I'll give you an example. It's a very common example, but I don't know how many of you have read books written by author Sudha Murthy, Miss Sudha Murthy. If in case you have read any book written by her, her books are very simple. The language used is so simple that anybody can understand. And she talks about really good things, the good experiences she's had, and every book has a good theme. And I mean, it tries to give something to the reader, but the language is so simple that people love reading Sudhamurthy books, and it reaches to the wider audience. She's written about 200 books, and I think most of 80% of the books are a hit, because it gives you so much information. It makes you feel so good. Whatever you're reading is relevant. You feel that you have taken something from the book in your real life, right? Something that you have learned from that book. And she writes mostly fiction and non-fiction mix, but her language is simple, which is why she can reach to the people, right? Okay, there are some authors who write very well, but then their use of language is very difficult. So they have a very just very specific set of people reading their books. Others know that the book is good, but they don't want to take it up, right? Because they know that they won't understand. So if you want to reach to the wider audience, use interesting language, use the interesting way of putting your thoughts, but with a simple language, right? Are you understanding here? Yes. You should include stories, like stories and not stories like, you don't have to cook up stories, but real stories, right? Again, I'll give you, I am taking this example of COVID again and again, because this is quite everybody knows about it and everybody can relate to it, so you will understand better what I'm trying to say here. All right. So for example, I am talking about schools closing during this COVID time, right? I'm now writing an article, what is the impact of COVID on education, right? Then I can include some stories about some, how teachers feel about it or how students feel about it. I can take some interviews, and I can just add on some quotations to make my article look interesting. It shouldn't look like that I am speaking whatever I want to speak, but when I add stories, real stories, then people buy my point. Basically, they feel that yes, what she's talking is right. Okay, people are experiencing this. So stories about people's real experiences. So whenever it's possible, I'm not saying every time you have to add the stories, no, but wherever it is possible, wherever you're talking about some impact or some experience, right? You can also add on some good quotations in your articles. For example, if you are talking about investment, right? You know how to invest and everything. So you can pick up quotes from some good investment bankers, or, you know, some people who are, some people who are like pioneers of this investment business. So that you back up your article and say that, you know, this is those so and so person also believes in this, and so person also suggests people to do that, right? So basically you grab your audience attention, right? And they'll take you more seriously. Okay. Facts and statistics, yes, because facts and statistics is important to be added, because facts again may it actually helps people to again believe you that what you're saying is right, and of course what you're writing about is real things, so why not use facts? Yes. Let me just share my screen so that in case if you're missing some points, you can just see what I'm writing side by side. Right? So as I say, you can add facts, you can add stories, like real stories, right? Facts or statistics. Yes. Okay. Is there any problem, or is there any confusion that you have till now? I'm just going through by your uh somebody has mentioned about Shashi Tharoor. Yes, I was just kind of focusing on Shashi Tharoor only. He writes really good books, but yeah, and of course not everybody can read his books. um Okay, so somebody just told me to go a bit slow, so I'll just quickly, maybe I can make the pointers here and you can note it down if you want to, so that, everybody's on the same page. So I just told you that article writing is basically non-fiction text. Okay, it can range from serious to ordinary. You can write about various things like politics. You can talk about health, how people's health are suffering these days, and what are, kind of topics about mental health. And there's so many other things that keep coming every day. Everybody, people have a new problem, and science is always trying to sort out at what is it and how to go about it. So health, you can talk about entertainment. So by entertainment, I mean music, movies, fashion, anything, right? And anything that entertains people. So if you want to be like, you can talk about technology. So anything, whatever interests you, whatever you want to write about, you can just go on and on and on. You can find new topics also to write about, right? The language that has to be used is simple. Yes, so that you reach to the wider audience. Am I clear? Yes. And try to make, or try to frame your strength sentences in an interesting way. Try to break your article in the interesting ways. We will be talking about it. Now, one thing that I would like to add is that this is less formal than report writing. Whenever you're writing any report, you use a very formal language because you're reporting about something, right? But an article, you can use a, lesser, formal language, but don't make it informal. By less formal, I don't mean informal language. Because please understand that your one article can reach to so many places. Yes, it can reach to so many, it will be published on, online, or maybe in newspapers or something. The language cannot be informal, not your just friends and your relatives are reading, right? It will be reaching, and you are talking about something valuable. Even if you are discussing about music or movie, you when you're writing an article, I'm sure you have something very valuable to say, right? So whenever you writing about something that is important, significant, and valuable, you don't use informal language, right? Yes. Yes, by informal language, I mean you don't use slang words. You don't, be careless about punctuations. You start using abbreviations. No, right? You start using the short forms. No, you start using these message language. No, it's a no, 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 right? Formal means that there are proper sentence structures. The use of words are appropriate. They are grammatically right. They have proper punctuations. The tense and the voice that is used is perfect. So that is how you make the language formal, of course, right? And if you are careless about these things, automatically your entire language will become informal, right? Why WhatsApp messages are informal? Because half of them, tend to take the liberty of using the words in short form. They just remove vowels from the words. I don't know what people do, right? It's a big no-no. Trust me, if you tell yourself today that I don't want to use short forms and abbreviations, trust me, that will become your habit, even if writing a WhatsApp message, right? I do not write the short forms of anything, right? You will never read my message which says you as the alphabet U, letter U. No, I use proper YOU, right? So just these small things that actually impact us in the later stages. So you should know about these things. All right, now what can an article do? These are just repetition of points, but I'll just take you through step by step. It offers you suggestions and advice. Of course, you are trying to say something. You are giving a suggestion. Maybe you're giving an advice. You are giving information. You can also compare two things. You want to compare, like for example, you want to compare two cars, two mobile phones, two things that are launched at the same time, two brands about same things, or maybe two these COVID vaccines that are out. You want to compare all of them. You want to talk about, which vaccine is better, what are the components, and what is the impact, and how it is making people feel better. So you can draw some comparisons also, right? Then you can describe about location, person, object, technology. Of course, you can talk about some particular person also, some political person, or maybe some historian, somebody who's a pioneer, anything. I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to write about, right? Your article, if it's a light article, and see, every article will have a focus, right? Your serious article will have a focus to give some people some information. Maybe you want to make them, make you want them to wake up for something serious that is happening around them. You want them to put them into some thoughts that, okay, we all should get serious and we should all take care of the situation, right? Your article might be simple and chilled out, and you want to make people feel happy about it, right? You want to, you want the other people to, people who are reading your article, you want to make them happy and bring smile on their face. How will you do it? You will do it through your writing style, how you do it, how you, and at the same time, they should also feel that they've got something valuable, right? They've learned something from your article, right? I think I've already influenced that you want to influence people. And of course, you want to give opinions, and then you want to, give in arguments or counter arguments, right? Now, before I get into the technicalities of uh, how the, article is written, and so what is the format of article writing, I just want to tell you one more thing, that I told you that this is not there in your study material, but you should know when you're doing a topic, you should know how this can help you, just not to pass this exam, but how this can help you overall, right? Now, if you know, now you have a, so many platforms where you can promote yourself, where you can write your articles and get published. Earlier, they used to be just newspapers and magazines, right? Not everybody can get themselves published there, right? You have to be something, or you have to be, some kind of an achiever, or maybe your article is super good, then only some newspaper used to publish your articles. And it was very difficult to approach them also at that time. But now, because of emails and everything, it's easier to approach the editors of any magazine and any newspaper and all of that. And because of so many, these social media platforms also, you can get in touch with people, and you can, show them your article. You can send them some excerpt, and if they like it, they publish your articles. So how this article writing can help you? One is, it can help you to, it quickly takes you to the status of getting published, right? If your article gets published, right, you can easily use the word that, your some piece of writing is published, you're a published writer basically, right? Now, not everybody can write a book takes a lot of time, and not everybody is keen to write a book. Not everybody's book can also get published. But if you think that you can write a 1 or 2 page article and you want to share it with other people, you can get it published with any journal, any magazine, any newspaper. And once your article is published, you get onto the status of published writer, and you can add this to your resume also, right? It gives you good impression to others, right, that you are a published writer, right? Then how else can it help you? Of course, you reach to the wider audience. You are basically, so you can reach to the target, so you can have a target audience basically. Maybe you are how to say, let's just say maybe you become a CA, and as a CA, you have every day, you have new updates coming up, you have new notifications coming up from the government. Then, after this budget session, there's a lot of things that change. I mean, there's so many things that, CAs have to be updated about. And there is something, some notification or some, change that comes in the, taxation, the rules that you have, right? And you want to share it, what you think about it. Is it right or is it wrong? For example, GST, when GST was applied, right? So many people started writing about GST, that how it can help and how it can be negative or whatever, right? So when you write such articles, you reach to the audience. Some writers might come back to you for some work, right? Because they might be getting stuck with that particular issue, and then they feel that you are good with that and you can sort their issue, and they can come back to you. You can get clientele also through your article writing. I'm not saying this helps 100% or this will give you like a lot of clients, no. But I'm saying somewhere you earn a good name for yourself in your industry, right? So this is how the article writing can help you. It can just take you through so many places, right? So it can actually help you in business development and marketing, right? Are you clear? Yes. And third thing, maybe you don't want to write about your industry and your field. Maybe you want to write about something. So for example, you are a C and you're interested in music and you have a very good knowledge about music. So you can write about music. It makes you feel good, it relaxes you, it can become your hobby also, right? So this is how the article writing can help you, right? Maybe you're writing an article for your company's newsletter, right? It helps you to learn something, right? If you have to write for some particular journal or magazine, it will give you also some knowledge. It's going to be a good exercise for you because you will be researching and then writing the article, right? So good so far. Are you all clear till here? And then I will move on to the format. Can you please write your queries once again? I might have missed it. I don't know where is your query in the list. Mm. Sudesh, I will be taking examples from outside also. Besides this, I have two more articles that I will be discussing today. And Sudesh, if your query is not answered, please make a list of your query and just send it to me right now. Shreya, you have some query that was not answered. If you could just write your query once again. I'm waiting for your queries. Because after this, then don't tell me that I've not taken this query. In case there is something that you need to ask me, please send it to me. I'm waiting. In the meantime, I'm just sharing the PPT. Shall I start if there is no query? Until I'm not saying that every article should have facts and figures. No, not every article can have it. Right? Not every article will have any evidence also. I said it is good to add it, right? It is, I mean, of course, if you're talking about philosophy and spirituality, you cannot mention. But yes, in case of philosophy and spirituality, you can talk about some, people who have pioneered, or maybe, who has achieved something in the same field, right? There's so many gurus that you have. There's so many, I mean, how should I put it? That there's so many philosophers also. There's such great philosophers. You can quote some of them. How to write fluently according to the topic? Yes, we will be discussing this, Safina. Uh, Suprada, I think there will be one question of 5 marks. Okay, Shreya, I'm glad that your query is already solved. That no, you don't use informal language. Safina, we will be talking about how to write and how to write fluently once I start discussing the structures. Sudesh, I take up the queries, but I don't really take up. I read everything, whatever you feel and whatever your thoughts are. But I only take up the questions if there is something that needs to be cleared. But don't worry, I read what your thoughts are, right? Whatever you like, for example, you just mentioned about some author that is also a good author. I read about it. So I am reading about your thoughts, but I take up questions that needs to be explained. So don't worry about it. Ayushi, I don't know. You have to check from the department. Please call at ICAI office. I am not the best person to answer this question to you. That is attesting of some declaration, so I cannot really answer this. All right, so let's start. Let's look at the format. The format is pretty easy. Of course, you have a heading, you have a title, then you have a byline. Byline is the writer's name, actually. So you write the writer's name. Of course, who has written this article, you will be mentioning about the person's name. Yes? Okay. Then you will be introducing a topic, and then you will be, basically, you will be dividing the topic. Yes. So basically, you will be introducing the topic, and then you will be, talking about whatever your topic is, and you will be dividing the topic into 2 to 3 paragraphs, and then there will be a conclusion. Clear? Yes. Any problem so far? Yes, you have a heading, you have a writer's name, you have introduction, then you have you discuss about a particular topic in 2 3 paragraphs, and then you have a concluding statement, right? In concluding statement, you basically talk about, crux of your entire article in 3 4 lines, or maybe the bottom line, like, this is what I feel, or this is how it should be, right? Am I clear? The format is easy. I don't think there should be any problem with the format, right? Now look at this. So there's a title of the article and how you place the writer's name, basically. So you have a heading, and then you place the writer's name towards the right, by so and so, whatever the person's name is, right? You don't use Miss, Mr, nothing. Simple. If I have written the article, you'll simple write by Prachi Garg. Nothing else. Okay. Then you start with the body of the letter. So basically, you give an introduction. Please note this: your introduction should be very good, right? If your first 2 3 lines are attractive, then only somebody will read your article. Otherwise, they will not read your article, right? Otherwise, they will lose interest in your article. Am I clear? Then you basically you describe each and every point that you want to discuss. If you want to give additional information, by additional information, I mean, of course, you want to mention about some quotes from people. You want to talk about somebody's interview. You want to add 1 or 2 lines said by somebody else. You want to basically add some statistical report. Maybe you're talking about some medical, health issue. You're talking about some particular disease or, illness, and you want to pick up some statistics that, from 2010 to 2020, so and so many people have already got this disease, right? So that is the additional information that you will be using. Then you will have conclusion, that what is your bottom line, what people should do, what do you think, what are you trying to suggest in your article, right? Whatever I'm telling you right now, I will be discussing through examples. This is just the framework that I'm giving you. Okay. Now, tips to write a good article. This you will only understand once we start discussing our examples, right? Do you want me to discuss one example with you before we go for a break, so that then you will understand what other things I'm talking about? Then I will come back on the, steps in article writing, tips to tips of writing a good article, and then I will be talking about points that you need to remember, how you need to organize your article and everything. But let's just take up one example first, so that it's easier for us to go ahead. I'll just share the article with you. Okay, I will be talking about the article number 2. Okay, now this article is basically about the health problems of tattoos, right? Yes. Okay. Now, I'll show you this thing. So basically, every paragraph, every paragraph that you see here has agenda, right? These paragraphs are divided as per some thought process, right? Now, there is somebody who wants to write about health problems of a tattoo without reading the article, right? Can you tell me in points what all things can you think about if you want to write an article on health problems of tattoos? Don't do any cheating. Let's be honest. Write down pointers in your query box and tell me, if I give you a topic to write health problems of tattoos, what all things will you talk about? Just give me pointers that I will be talking about this. Let's see how much you know, then I will explain you. Okay, quickly tell me, if this topic was given to you, health problems of tattoos, we all know what tattoos are, right? And so we know what all problems people face also. At least you would have some idea. So quickly tell me, what all things will you write about this? What all points can you think of? Okay, one is that it damages our skin. Now, Khushi, in your article, will you just write about how it damages your skin, or will you explain about it? Will you talk about that, how the skin is damaged? I mean, what do you mean by damaged skin? And if you are talking about just damaged skin, how will your flow will be? Will you talk about how damaged skin is? How do you get to know what are the symptoms of a damaged skin? Can you also tell me about, what you can do to protect your skin? Will you also talk about it, how you will prevent from your skin getting damaged? Everything. And I mean, what all things will you include, even if you're talking about that the tattoos damage your skin? Can cause cancer. Okay, good answer. Skin infection, feeling weak, headache, vomit. Skin infection, it will create. Okay, it will create a problem while getting a government job. Okay, fine. I don't know if that is a criteria, but okay. What are the advantages? Good, Sudesh. I think your things are in place. You are talking about that you will first start with disadvantages of getting a tattoo. Then you will talk about what happens when you get tattoos. What are the some problems faced in the society? No, I think the topic is health problems. So we will not talk about society here for now. Please understand the title is health problems. So we can't talk about society here. We are just focusing on how it's, affects your health. Jyoti, you cannot write the entire article about it. It gives pain. That's it. How to come? Pooja, where is your answer? How are health affects? Okay, good. How affect your skin and everything? Soumya, due to this is risk infection due to the government jobs are given. Is government job part of health problems? I wonder. It involves pushing. Okay, somebody has actually given me a very scientific kind of a response. Niharika. Okay, that affects your dermis of the skin with the needle, and then there's a problem with infection and unclean tattoo infect the recipient with hepatitis B. Okay, damage skill. Okay, skin infection, Prashant, very good. Now, basically, you all have given me the list of problems that you can have from the tattoos, right? But when I'm writing an article, I would like to give the wholesome experience or wholesome information to the my readers, right? First, I would like to talk about that tattoos have been around for thousands of years. Look at the first paragraph. Can you all read from your screen? Okay, look at the title. It's the health problems of the tattoos. Then it's written by Paul Silver. The byline, the writer's name is towards the right. Then the first paragraph says, tattoos have been around for thousands of years, but they have always had their health problems. The main potential problem with getting a tattoo is infection, right? Now the reader has already told you that this topic is going to tell you that how you are under a potential threat if you get a tattoo. Now the writer has set the beginning. Okay, now look at the second paragraph. The tattooing process involves pushing pigment far down into the dermis of the skin with a needle. With modern stainless steel and sterilization machines, this is much easier to keep clean and problem free than the original tattooing method of rubbing ash into the wounds, but problems can still occur. If a tattooing needle is not completely and totally clean, when it pierces your skin, it can deposit germs deep into the skin along with the pigment it is delivering. Now, please understand. In the first paragraph, in the second paragraph, now I'm talking about what is a process and procedure of writing, tattooing, right? Please understand that if I am writing an article about health problems of tattoo, I am assuming that there are some readers that they will not understand or they would not know about the procedure of the tattooing, right? How do you get a tattoo, right? Not everybody has this knowledge. So I have to make sure that whosoever is reading my article, they get to know what tattooing is, right? Then only they will understand what health problems are. Otherwise, how would they get to know what are the problems, right? They will only understand what are the problems if I tell them about the process, right? Because I cannot assume that my article will be read about only those people who know about the tattooing process. Okay, now there are two drawbacks to it. If I assume such a thing, then I am reducing my audience. My wide audience is getting reduced. अगर मैं ऐसा if I put this kind of a demarcation, so I want my article should be complete enough to give full information. So first I will tell that what this article is about. Second, I will be talking about the process and procedure. Can you please keep making notes side by side? Make a list. First paragraph, introduction. Second paragraph, process and procedure. Now come to the third paragraph. A major problem with infection from uncleaning tattooing is it can affect the recipient with hepatitis B. In turn, hepatitis can cause inflammation of the liver, which is painful to start with, and if left to develop, uh, can become chronic and cause long-term damage and even death. Now, skin problem is a very common thing that everybody knows. Now, how my article is different, right? Why would I talk about something which is so common and everybody knows? I am talking about something that people don't know. My purpose of writing this article is to give information to the people that they don't know about, right? And when they will know about it, it will be too late for them to, help themselves. So now, and to be very honest, even I did not know that, if you get a tattoo, you can get hepatitis B and it can affect your liver. Just imagine, right? So now this got me into reading this article that, okay, really? If I get a tattoo done, then I can get hepatitis B, right? So this is what your article should do. I mean, did you ever, how many of you knew that you can get hepatitis B if you get a tattoo? Tell me, how many of you knew about this? None of you have written about hepatitis. Everybody has just written about the skin issues. Good, Khushi, you have already made the notes. Very good. Tattoos are not born from where the tattoo started, Anchal. Okay, so basically I'm telling you how you basically organize your article and how you want the other readers to read about it. Now, how you make the readers intrigued about that. Oh, wow, this is something new that I'm learning about. I did not know about this. So your article should do this thing to somebody, right? Now, even if I want to know about Kareena Kapoor Khan, uh, that is my interest, and that also depends on the person who has written the article, that I might get some more information. I'm like, oh, I did not know about that about her. Maybe, if I say that, oh, she made a cake, it could be news to people. Right? Somebody's writing an article about it. Kareena Kapoor Khan made a banana bread, right? Now, it totally depends on the writer, how interesting he or she makes the write up, right? The article about it. So that is the power of article, and that is the power of the writer actually, right? Okay, then this next thing comes major problem. So basically you're talking about what is a major problem, what are you going to talk about. Then you will talk about the initial symptoms are hepatitis infection. So if I'm writing an article, now I will give this information also, that if you get hepatitis and what all things you might feel, right? And then what you should do, right? Then in the next paragraph, it talks about the treatment. By this point, the pain and the other symptoms should have taken you to your doctors. They will need to carry out a blood test to confirm which strains of hepatitis you have contracted. If you have developed a bad infection, you may need to get hospitalized and all of that. Then you talk about the statistics. Up to 95% of adults. So basically you're backing up your information, that I am not making up this. ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरे आसपास, one or two people got hepatitis B and I'm writing an article. No, I have the information. About 95% of adults get hepatitis B, right? So now I've made my article authenticated, right? Next comes the prevention. Now, if somebody wants to avoid this, what they can do. Infection can be prevented by good living conditions, and please mind you that you can actually control 90% of diseases and illness if you have a good living condition. Hepatitis B can be prevented with a vaccination, which many tattoos will have as a preventive measure, as they do not wish to catch hepatitis from their customers, someone who may carry it unknowingly. Then you talk about the precautions. Basically, what are precautions? Of course, when we are talking about some health problem, we need to talk about the precautions also, preventions and precautions, right? And then I talk about the what all post procedure also. So once you've got the tattoo, what all things you should do to take care of yourself. And then at the end, I will talk about my suggestion, because if I have written this article, I need to give my suggestion what you all should do. Instead of getting a permanent tattoo, you should get a temporary one. This is my suggestion to you. This article is to give you information and suggestion, right? They are available in a wide range of designs, and from star tattoos to tribal styles, and don't carry any risk of infection. So this whole article, I'm so sorry, I forgot scrolling. Okay, now this whole article is a complete article which discusses one particular topic of health problems, right? If some reader doesn't know what is a process, it tells you about the process. It tells you about what is the problem. It tells you about what all symptoms you will develop. It also tells you about the treatment. It tells you about the precautions, preventions. Then it tells you about how you should take care of yourself after the tattoo. And last, it gives you a suggestion that you should get a temporary, not a permanent one. Clear? Do you see that this article is complete and gives you the whole information? Any problems? I mean, did you understand it, how you can organize an article, how your article should be? See, I know none of us knew about this. That is the power of an article. Somebody wrote an article, and now we know that these are the health problems of the tattoos, right? Right, Pooja? So yes, this is the best article. It's actually a completely packed article. Yes. Jyoti, third paragraph is about, are you talking about the major problem ones? Yes. So third paragraph is about the problem or the disease that you might develop. Yeah, of course, you should make notes in your study material. Yes, so you actually you've just over about the cancer thing. You don't even know the details. So, this is why we should read. So when we read, we get information. And if we will not have information, how will we write the article? Now, this person who has written this article had the complete information that how your art, what the people don't know about. So now, what is the uniqueness of this article? That the person has tried to write an article about something that he knows or she knows that 90% of the people don't know about, right? And this is why this article is interesting. Okay, are we clear till here? Yes. Any problem so far? Okay, so coming back, I will be taking more examples. This is why I wanted to discuss the example from study material, because this will give you better clarity that how you organize things. We will take the 5 minutes break at 12 o'clock. So when I have taken the break, you can please complete your notes in case you want to. Yeah. Okay, now coming back to the thing. So now we will be discussing about what are the steps of the writing, what are the tips for the writing a good article, and what are the points that you should remember when you're writing an article. I'll just discuss because we have 3-4 minutes before we go for a break, and it's pretty quick because I've already discussed this things with you. I will discuss the points to remember once again with you. First is the topics should be unique or of relevance. Hang on. Please look at your screens. Points to remember. The topic should be unique and of relevance. Of course, it should be unique. Now, this article was unique, right? It gives you information that most of the people don't know. Relevance, yes, because this at this stage, the rage of getting tattoos is increasing day by day. Everybody wants to get a tattoo. Know the target audience. You should know your target audience, right? You cannot target everybody, right? Not everybody would be interested. So the people who have interest in tattoos or learning about such things is your target audience. Identify the aim of writing. It is to advise, inform, entertain, compare, describe, etc. What is the aim of your writing? What is the purpose of your writing? Now this one was to give information and to suggest, not to get it done. The title should be short and eye catchy, right? It is a short article, The Health Problems of Tattoos. You can make it more eye catchy also. Okay, this is the exercise in your break. Tell me, if you have to give another title to this article, what will you do? How will you make it even more interesting? So you have to come up with the title of the same topic, same article. Begin with a striking open statement which gets the readers interested in the topic. The writer must have enough to say, enumerate your ideas before writing. Please make a list of points that you want to talk about. You should always have your pointers ready, then only you will be able to write. Otherwise, you will mix everything and the information will go, haywire, and nobody will understand anything. Be true to what you write. Make assertions, go by them throughout the articles. So you should be true to what you're writing. Like I just told you, your article should be authenticated. You should know what you're writing about, right? You have to make assertions, that you have to emphasize on the fact that what you're talking is true. How will you do it? If you add some, external things to it. Keep the article brief. Unnecessary repetition, irrelevant information makes it boring. Don't repeat your things again and again. You explain one point, explain it perfectly at one time. Break the article into paragraphs to delineate into a separate ideas. Did you see how this article was divided into so many points? It discussed about yeah It discussed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there were about 10 paragraphs and 10 things to discuss. Then you pay attention to the voice and tenses. Of course, please, you have to take care of the tenses, otherwise, your language, and conclude logically. You should know the flow of your article. You talk about the problem, symptoms, prevention, precaution, treatment. You should know what your flow is. Right? Understood? So good so far. All right, so I'm going to take a 5 minutes break and I will join at 12:05. Right. In the meantime, you have to go drink water, relax, and just think of a catchy title for the same topic: health problems of tattoos. I'll see you at 12:06 actually now. Okay. Hello? Hello? Where is that? Acha, I'm live? Okay. All right, guys, welcome back. I have just received two or three tattoos issues of life. No. Tattoos arises health problems. Okay, Utkar. Think before you, Khushi, think before get tattooed. Think before you get tattooed. Mystery behind getting tattoos. Okay, good. Sudhish. Horrifying truth of tattoo fashion or issue. Tattoos trend causes problem. Okay, okay, good try, everyone. Prashant, I think I've taken your queries. Which query I have not answered? I've gone through the list once again. Which is your query that I've not answered? I don't know. I've just gone through the entire list. Prashant, there's no query in the list. Just check. Okay. I have so much to do, guys. Let's just start with the topic. Okay. So I discussed with you before going on the break uh, points to remember while writing an article. Okay. Now let's start with the steps in writing the article. Consequences of tattoos, secret behind tattoos. Okay. Tattooing and invitation to health problems. Good, Moksh. Uh, Tattooing the threat in beauty. Okay. Uh, Rare facts about tattoos. Sumedha, your question is, do we need to have a significant writing style while writing an article? I don't understand what you mean here. Everybody has their own writing style. You should just know about your target audience before you start writing. I mean, what kind of writing style you will be good at, and what kind of writing style will make people interested in your article. So, I mean, there is nothing like significant writing style, but everybody has their own writing style. You just have to do it best so that people read what you want to say. Problems and side effects of tattoos. Okay. Or you can just say side effects of tattooing. All right. So enough of this. Now let's start. Now we will be starting. Yeah, I like my pens. So now we will be talking about the steps. We've already done about the format. Now steps are very important. Please listen carefully now. The topic is done. Now let's come to the next topic, which is very important. It is these steps. Now the first step is very important, is to identify your target audience. Now, please, whenever you write an article, you should have a focus on one particular target audience. You cannot you write an article that will make everybody interested in it, and that will that everybody will read, right? You should have one specific kind of a target audience ready with you, right? So for example, if I'm writing about online education, okay, if I'm talking about the advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons of online education these days, not everybody would be interested in what I'm writing about, right? So who will be my target audience? Tell me. So if I'm my topic is, if I'm writing an article about online education during the times of pandemic, let's make it smaller. Okay, my topic is online education in the times of pandemic. Let's make it more interesting. I will use another word. So I changed the word during to in. Now I'm changing another word from times to I use the word the era. So online education in the era of pandemic. Now tell me, who will be my target audience for this? Who will be interested if I write such an article? Who would be interested to read? Who will be my target audience? Prashant, your topic, your title was good. Boon or pain for health. Okay, parents, teachers, students, yes. Good. Right. So primarily, I have three categories of target audience for this article, which is students, parents, teachers, or educators, I would say. Right? Because in this article, and what all things will I be discussing in this article? I will come. Wait. So my target audience is students, parents, and educators. Basically, by educators I mean teachers. I mean the people who are running the education institutions, people who are doing academic writing, maybe the publishers for that matter. Anybody who's related to target. This is I'm stretching. Main is these three, right? It could be so many other people also, but then these three would primarily read. By students, college, school, both are covered. Parents, of course, especially for the parents whose children are in school, teachers and educators, right? Now, so this is my target audience, right? Now I will write the identify the purpose of writing. So now I have to write the identify the next step is first I've got my target audience. Now my purpose of writing. Now by this, what do I want to do? What do you think I want to do? Do I want to give suggestions? Do I want to give advice? Do I want to give information? Do I want to compare the pros and cons, or maybe I want to compare it with the offline education? What I want to do with this? Tell me. What should I do? If this is my topic, what should be my purpose of writing? Why should I write, and what I will write? Will I describe this? Will I give information this? Will I talk about the pros and cons on this topic? What will I do? Tell me. Akshit, very good. Policymakers. That's very, very good. Yes. Should the people who are taking decision of online schools? Yes. Maybe they are not focusing on how good or how bad this can be for everyone. Good, very good. Tell me. I think it's a very broad topic. I can include a lot of things in this article. So just tell me what all things I can include. It's a very, broad title that I've given. So I can include a lot of things. Quickly tell me what all things I can include. Quickly, I'm waiting. Okay, very good, Prashant. So he says how and pandemic has affected the offline education, or you can just say how pandemic has affected the education. Then pros of online education, cons of education, and how to cope with it. Basically, how to live with it, because even we don't have any other option. Do we have an option of going on offline? No, we're just stuck in a situation. Soumya, I don't get your question. Amol, you've written health problem due to online education. I think this will be part of cons of online education. Okay, so basically, I will be giving information. By information, wait, I will be comparing. So I will be discussing pros and cons, right? I will introduce what online education is and how it started, right? And then my suggestion slash advice to cope up in this time, right? This is going to be a purpose of writing. Yes. Now, next comes the collect and select information. Collect and select information. So now, what does this mean? Now, I will have various sources of information. I might be experiencing it myself. I might be reading about it. I might be experiencing as a parent. I might be experiencing as a teacher. So I need to know from where all information that I need. So, for example, if I'm a teacher, I will not know the parent's perspective. If I'm a parent, I will not know teacher's perspective, right? But if I'm writing an article, I should know how everybody is feeling. So my, information should be complete. So I should know from where I have to collect and select the information, from where I have to gain my knowledge before writing this article. Then I need to organize it. Now, organize. How will I do it? Now, I'll tell you there are two ways. One is, of course, you can go, in a linear way. You can make points. Okay. Linear points means introduction. What will I write in introduction? On pros and cons. Pros, yay, points. Cons, these points. These are linear way of making notes. But I can do the mind mapping also. Now, what is mind mapping? Or I can draw a flow chart also. So this will basically help me to organize my information. Now, how? If I write down in one line here, online education. Okay, right? So I want to first, my target audience is 3 uh, educators, no policy makers. I have policy makers. Yes, educators. I have students. I have parents. Okay. Now I will start making points with how everybody is feeling. Right? Yes. Right. Now, what is the thought process of policymakers? Policymakers are, basically helpless because of the pandemic situation. How is educators feeling? Right? How parents are feeling? How are students feeling? So I have to make the notes here. Right? And this is how I will organize my information. Right? Students, not every child can cope up with online education. Agreed with me? Right? Yes. And for the, small kids, physical development is not being justified. Yes. Uh, Exams is an issue online. Yes. Understanding is an issue. Right? Parents, so parents have very different perspective. Right? One, of course, it has increased their burden because they have to take care of other things, and now they have to take care of students education also. They have to sit, and for the smaller kids, parents have to sit with them, and there is a possibility that parents are also working. They have to work as well as they have to take care of the kids, right? And then what I know is the parents are given a lot of homeworks because now there is no classwork done, so everybody is in the home, everything is in the homework, right? Educators, teaching is an issue because what you can do in the physical classroom you cannot do online with the children, right? Then checking work, exam checking is a work, right? You can't justify what you want to do. There's so many activities that you can't do with the kids online. Yes. Can you do a role play online? No. Right? So, and there's so many competitions, everybody can feel that so many festivals and competitions that used to happen that cannot not happen online, right? But what is your pros of online education? Then come with another point, pros and cons. Then we start talking about pros here, that it is keeping everyone safe, right? Everybody can log in from any part of the city. They might be visiting their nani or dadi to any other state, but they're not missing their education. Whereas in case of offline education, they used to miss their classes, right? uh, Cons, not every child has the facility of online education. Not everybody has the laptop, not everybody has the internet connection, right? Yes. Am I clear? So there's so many things that you can organize. Unless you organize it like this, you won't be able to write an article. This can become easier 2-page article. Yes. So did you understand that how we can organize the information? No, you cannot know about the parent's perspective unless you are a parent yourself and unless you are going through it. So basically, it is always good to know the first-hand experience. You shouldn't assume the things. Okay, so this was about the organizing the information sequence. So once you have your points ready, then you can order them that, I want to discuss this first, then this, and then this. All right. This is how you can have. Also, if you have a, flow chart or a mind mapping ready, then you can add or delete points anytime you want, right? Before you start writing your puja. Pros and cons means positive and negative points. Okay. So I'm talking about what is the positive part and what is the negative part. No, you don't have to source the at last. So if you are referring to your study material and you are saying that, we have mentioned source in the end, this is why, because we have picked up somebody else's article, right? But if the article is yours, you don't have to mention the source. But yes, online, when you get your articles published, and if you are using somebody's quotation or somebody else's material, then you have to give them the credits. You have to tell them, if you've picked up these lines from so and so person. Purpose of writing once. Archana, you should know why you're writing your article. Is your article going to give information to people? If it is going to suggest people what to do and what not to do, if it is going to compare two things, if it is just simply going to describe something, so you need to know what your article is basically going to give somebody who's going to read this. Am I clear? What is the purpose of writing? Urvashi, yes, there's so many points. I mean, I think you can just go on and on and on this topic. If you wish and if you like it, I want you all to, today after the class, write an article on this topic. Right? I'll see how you can share it with me. But you can write it and then we can discuss. Right? You can see, or at least you can tell me tomorrow that what is the flow of your article. And if you could just send me the whole article, that's well and good. Right? So at least I can go through it. And otherwise also it will be a right. And otherwise also it will be good exercise for you, because everybody has enough information about this topic. Am I clear? Yes. Okay. Okay. So I've just explained to you that how you can organize your thoughts and then you can write. Now, let's discuss about tips to write a good article. Now, writing a good article requires two things: good content and good technique. Right? Good content is that you should know your information should be good, well checked, authenticated, and it should be something new to everyone. And technique, like how you want your article to flow, what in which technique you're following, what kind of a thing that you want to do it. Minimize your barrier to entry. What does this mean? Your introduction should be so good. It should not be lengthy. It should be short. It should not become a barrier between you and the reader, right? So the introduction should be only for 2-3 lines, and but it should be so interesting that the person is urged to read your article, right? So minimize your barrier means that if your introduction is good, you will automatically decrease the barrier. Automatically readers will read your article. Keep your paragraph short and your text visually appealing. Yes. So basically, your paragraph should be small. If you noticed in the health problems also, the articles were short. It's so crisp. It gives you information, precaution this, prevention this, symptoms this. So if you're talking about online education, you can talk about pros, cons, what teachers feel, what parents feel. Don't make it a huge paragraphs. No, that bores people. Make it short paragraph. Take one agenda of every paragraph and write. Keep it short and sweet. I told you, keep it short. Keep every paragraph short and sweet. Give me a substance. Give me a substance means that you should give authenticated information and evidence of what you are writing, right? Don't talk about, something that you feel in general. It might not be true. What evidence do you have that people are actually going through this, right? So you can put any quotation, you can put in somebody's interview, you can put, some statistical reports, you can put some politicians words, anything, some educators words, some teachers or some principal has given some, media bite to tell about how they are suffering and how students are suffering and how parents and teachers are suffering. So you can pick some lines from there. Tell me a story. Now, story, I told you, give a real story, article becomes interesting, right? You can pick up any, there's so many interviews that are going on. You can pick up from any news channel, you can pick up from any newspaper, any magazine, or maybe you can interview someone by yourself, call them and ask them, how are you feeling? I'm writing an article, I want to know how you all are feeling, right? Do your research. Your research should be so on point while writing an article that the article will come out very well automatically, right? I'm so sorry, just give me a second. Right? Show, then tell. Start by showing me your point in action, then explain it to me what it means and why it matters. Right? Your flow, the content should be such that you're talking about a point, right? That people are suffering. Okay, I got your point that people are suffering. The education industry is suffering, right? But explain me what it means. What do you mean by suffering, right? Are they not getting the classes? They are getting the classes. They're not getting the information. They are getting the information. And but why it is bothering you still? What all is missing? So you have to tell me everything, right? So whenever you're writing a good article, please make sure that you have these 6 points ready with yourself. Clear? Yes. This PPT has already been uploaded, so you can always download it and then you can just go through this. Okay, so now this was the basically an idea about how to write an article. Now, henceforth, we will be discussing some examples and we will be discussing how to write a good article, right? I will be discussing one more example with you, some external example, not from your book. If you, I mean, you tell me if you want an example from the same exercise from your study material or you want some other example to be given. I'll do both, right? But before this, just one more thing that you need to take care of is vocabulary and descriptive language, right? Your voice, your use of vocabulary. I'm repeating this once again. I started my class with this, that your vocabulary should be interesting yet simple. People should understand what you're trying to say. All right, don't use the words that people don't understand. They will not understand what point you're trying to make here. Am I clear? Yes. Okay, so this was it about the language part. Now tell me, you want to discuss another example from your study material, or I should pick up some other topic? There are a few more things that I would like to discuss, but I would like to discuss this tomorrow, not today, because before we discuss one more example, all of these points will not make sense to you. So we can discuss this tomorrow. Basically, the points to keep in mind to avoid mistakes, what are the common mistakes people do, and everything. Before I discuss the article, okay, now I would come back to the exercise session, choosing a title. Now, your title actually creates the impact, okay, on the reader, okay, and that what you're trying to say and what all you want to say. So your title and your introduction will decide if the reader is going to read your read your article or not. Am I clear? Yes. So there are two passages that I've given you, and there are option of four titles given there. You have to read the passage and tell me which title is appropriate for this particular passage. Quickly, start this. I give you 2 minutes for this. Read the passage very carefully and then tell me which title will be appropriate according to the passage. Done? Akshit, I think the word limit of articles should be around 300 to 400 words. Or which it depends. I mean, why do you want to write about yourself in your article? My goodness, how come some people are saying D? Okay, I'll read the passage for you. Use of electronic email has been widespread for more than a decade. Email simplifies the flows of ideas, connects people from distant offices, eliminates the need of meetings, and often boosts productivity. However, emails should be carefully managed. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Uh, often boost productivity. However, emails should be carefully managed to avoid unclear and inappropriate communications. Email messages should be concise and limited to one topic. When complex issues need to be addressed, phone calls are at best. Now, I would like to understand Now please understand this passage and tell me which title is appropriate, A, B or C. How people decided that 5 phone calls are better than email. Are we talking about phone calls in the passage? Then how can be the title as 5 phone calls are better than email? D is cancelled. D is not the title. Now we are left with 3 options. Email, the ideal form of communication. No, the passage doesn't say that email is the best form of communication and the ideal. Where does it say? Because in the end, it is making a statement, phone calls are still the best. But I will not consider the D as a title because it doesn't explain why phone calls are better. Had this passage explained why phone calls are better, then in comparison to email, then I would have selected D. C is again not the question because the last line says phone calls are the best. Then how can C be possible? C is cancelled. Email's popularity and appropriate use of email. You are left with 2 options. Like just in Kaun Banega Crorepati, we have 50-50 options. So you're left with only 2 options. Now you have 2 options, right? Now you tell me if it is appropriate use of email or email's popularity. Are we talking about how popular emails are, or are we talking about how emails are used and how it can be used? It is talking about the use of email, appropriate use of email. This is why I wanted to do this exercise. You should understand what your focus of passage is. The focus of passage is appropriate use of email. Nothing else. No other title can go or justify what is there in the passage. Similarly, if your article is good and if your title is not appropriate, your article is going to be failed. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to enjoy it, right? Nobody will be able to relate to it. Your title has to be well chosen, okay, and well thought. Am I clear? Now you got an idea why this exercise? Okay. I'm sorry, this while I was copying, pasting in the PPT, it got just a bit cumbersome. So if you could just read it and then give me an example for this one as well. You choose the title for this one as well. Okay, quickly. Prashant, it should be 300 to 400 at least. Else I'll check and give you a right answer tomorrow. So when I say 300 to 400, that means the minimum should be 300 words at least. The answer to the last one was A. A. Appropriate use of email. Now tell me for the next one. Quickly. Is this readable to you guys? I'll read it for you guys if you want so that it's clear to you. Mental and physical health professionals may consider referring clients and patients to the music therapist for several reasons. It seems a particularly good choice for the social worker who is coordinating a client's case. Music therapists use music to establish a relationship with the patient and to improve the patient's health using highly structured musical interaction. Patients and therapists may sing, play instruments, dance, compose, or simply listen to music. The course of training for music therapists is comprehensive. In addition to formal music and therapy training, music therapists are taught to discern what kinds of interventions will be most beneficial for each individual patient. Because each patient is different and has different goals, the music therapist must be able to understand the patient's situation and choose the music and activities that will do the most toward helping the patient achieve his or her goals. The referring social worker can help this process by clearing communicating each other's history. All the patients may develop their musical skills. That is not the main goal of music therapy. Any client who needs to work on communication or on academic, emotional and social skills who is not responding to emotion traditional therapy is an excellent candidate for music therapy. Which of the following would be the most appropriate title for the passage? Option 1, how to use music to combat depression. How social workers need to know about music therapy. Training for a career in music therapy, the social worker as music therapist. This is so easy. So easy. Tell me. Moksh, very good. You're the only one who has got the answer right till now. Good. Anyone else? I will not tell what Moksh's answer is. You have to first tell me your answers. But till now, only Moksh has got the answer right. Some of you have been asking me that how they can send the articles to me. I don't, let me just check with the ICAI department how you can send me the article. Quickly tell me the answer for this one and then we'll proceed. I'll tell you in the meantime. I think I should receive the answer till then. Urvashi, you have also got the answer right. So I just have two students who have got the answer right. It's Moksh and Urvashi. No, even Nafisha. Even you've got the answer right. Good. Par Parthasarthi. Even you've got the answer right. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Okay, so the option is B. What social workers need to know about music therapy. Just look at this. Is the article telling us about the social worker as music therapist? No. Is it telling us about a career? No. Training for a career in a music therapy? No. Is it telling us about how to use music to combat depression? No. It is telling about what social workers need to know about music therapy. No, only three, four of you've got the answer right. Rest of you, the answer is wrong. So I hope you like this exercise. If you want, we can do this more of this exercise tomorrow so that you understand that how you can choose the title appropriately. Okay. Am I clear? Yes. Okay. We have just like 5, 7, or 8 minutes left. Let me quickly show you one article and then rest we can discuss tomorrow. Okay, look at this article. Outer firms fear impact of COVID-19 on sales. So outer firms are basically the firms that deals with cars, okay, automobiles. So they fear the impact of COVID-19 on sales. Obviously, there's curfew and lockdown, the sales of the cars will drop down, right? This is so obvious. So now look at the title first. The title is quite appropriately picked up. Outer firms fear impact of COVID-19 on sales. All right. So this now we get a clear idea that because of COVID-19, this article is going to discuss about it, how the sales of the cars have dropped and how the entire industry is impacted. Leading automobile companies such as Maruti Suzuki, Toyota, Chrysler Motor, Honda Cars said that they feared a dent in sales as COVID-19 cases surged across the country. Of course, right? So this is the introduction, and they have already named some big brands who are already who are fearing from the surge in the COVID-19 cases. This is a very current article I just picked up from I think tomorrow or day before yesterday's newspaper. So they are actually feeling that sales will drop. The country's largest maker, MSI, said auto sales were correlated closely with economic growth, also being a discretionary purchase with consumer sentiments. Right? So it just tells you more about how people are feeling. Then it also quotes the sales and marketing person that what they feel about the situation. The next paragraph says the lockdown made it physically impossible to deliver the cars. Now, what is the problem? Why sales will drop down? The problem is that lockdown made it physically impossible to deliver the car. But even the deterioration in COVID-19 situation without lockdown also psychologically dents consumer propensity to buy, he noted. So what he's trying to say is that he's telling them about a problem, that even if, the delivery is not a problem, the people might think that it's lockdown situation. Why should I spend the money on the car? So basically, they're talking about what major brands are feeling. Now that person is backing up with some, big companies, directors' quotes. Then they are talking about the problem. Now they're talking about some more problem, what others are feeling. Toyota senior VP said that, we will be able to access trends and define numbers only by the end of the month. So they are basically telling that by the end of the month, we will be able to say what is going to happen. On manufacturing operations, Mr. Soni said that the company continued to cautiously proceed with vehicle productions. Right. So now basically this entire article talks about the impact of COVID-19, right? How the showrooms are going to shut and why people are feeling this drop down in the car situation, right? There was another article that I had. This is like sleeping too little in middle age may increase dementia risk, study finds, right? Now, this whole article is about a health issue because of not sleeping. Am I clear? So it actually tells you about the study. It actually tells you about the what problems people are facing. And it's a very huge article. So I think tomorrow will be the best time to discuss this article, not right now, because if I start this, it's going to take another half an hour. Right? So tomorrow we can start with this topic, this this sample writing, and then we can discuss. At home, I want you to please write down the article on the topic that I've already told you, online education during the era of, in the era of pandemic. Right? Write down the article. Let me see how you can send it to me. Otherwise, we'll discuss it in tomorrow's class. Yes? Any problem that you would like to discuss? Anything that you want me to repeat? Surged means increasing, yes. Khushi, whenever you're writing something, Khushi, so how do you know about the writer of the article? So normally the name of the article, name of the person who has written the article, the name is written in the next line of the title. I told you that is the format of article writing. You need to mention the name of the writer. Amrita, I'm not the best person to answer your technical questions regarding the exams and declaration forms and everything. You need to contact somebody official in ICAI department. They will be able to help you. I really don't know about this. Okay, so I don't think there's any other problem. I have not received anything yet. Do let me know if you enjoy today's class, if article writing is understandable to you, if you feel that you can manage it, if I was able to make the topic easier for you, do mention it in the comment box in your query list if you enjoyed today's class. Before I go, and before we call it a day, please remember that it might sound a bit easier to you to how to write an article, right? But it is not that easy. It requires more than a skills with words, right? In article writing, you should know how to organize your thoughts, right? It is not only about how good English you can write and how good words you can read, right? It is also about how you will put your thoughts together, right? So you should always make notes first, that what all things you're going to discuss. Even if by tomorrow I am not able to get your articles and check them, right? If there is no way of sending the articles to me, at least send me, or you can show me this kind of flow chart, right? If you could just make it like this, or if you could just make the pointers. So for example, on page number 844, it is like there are like four boxes about demonetization. So in the similar way, you can make four headings along with the pointers, what all points you will be discussing under the same heading. So at least you can share those pointers with me, that under this thing I will be sharing this, then I will be discussing this topic and these are the points, then I will be discussing this topic and these are the points. At least you can show me your organizer. Okay, and organizing your thoughts is very important, so learn as much as you can right now. Okay, because I can help you with that, right? So thank you so much. Now I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then we will discuss more examples, we will practice more things, so that at least you're good with your article writing, and that is going to help you like everywhere, not just your exams. All right, bye, stay safe, have a good day ahead, see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Prachi. Bye. You have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Hello,
Bye.
am I offline?
Yes, yes.
Kids wanted to know if they can send me the articles. Can they do that? Hello? Hello?